This is Katie Gusson. Today is March 8th. It is 8:57 a.m. This is the morning hearing session of the Board of Assessment Appeals in Room 2.
I heard your name all the time from Susan Neal. Okay. Yeah, I live on James Street, by the way. Oh, wow, right around the corner. Yeah. Favorite.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank
That's right, it is.
Hello.
Hi.
Are you at the appeals?
Yeah, are you John?
I am John, yes.
Come on in. Okay. So, I am going to swear you in, and I'm going to have you sign this.
Okay.
Head here. It's recorded there for the town, so we're going to speak first to it. And I just have to read some things onto the record before we can begin.
Okay.
Let's start with, okay. So this is appeal number 82. The property address is 260 Roselle Street. Feel free to sit down. You don't have to.
Okay.
The owner present is John Miola. Town value is $608,700. The ask amount, now this is something, it appears the ask amount is the assessed value. So I just want to state that for the record, because it's not the appraised value, but the assessed value is $407,740 is the request. The owner is appearing in person, and we are going to do the swearing in now. Do you solemnly swear the information you shall give concerning the assessment appeal now in question shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, perfect. Sign off on that. Okay, so, have you ever done one of these before?
No.
Okay, so I am one of the 7 members of this board.
Okay.
It is made up of residents that were elected to the position, and the entire board's purpose is to oversee what goes on in the assessor's office in terms of the evaluation, the property.
Okay, right,
So
yeah.
taxpayers come forward and say, hey, I think it's too high, or
Right, correct.
technically they could say it's too low, and we meet with them, et cetera.
I
And
don't
so,
think
yeah.
that
That doesn't happen, but at any rate, so the way this works is I'll meet with you individually, we'll go through this here, I'll compile everything, ask you for additional things if needed.
Okay.
Encourage you to send in if needed. When all of these hearings are through, the entire board will convene and go through all of the cases again on a one-by-one basis, and then we will make our decision, we'll notify the town, and then they will notify you.
Okay.
This will all be concluded within this month, so you'll hear something by the end of March.
Okay, great.
Okay, so I'm going to just take notes as you speak, but I have everything here. I saw that you bought not too far outside of the valuation period, so in a way that's a big help for you.
Okay.
Because a lot of what we do looks at sort of what the property would trade for in terms of coming to a value. And since it looks like you bought not very far outside of that time frame, that's going to help you. But okay.
Okay. But what do I do? You need me to?
Yeah. So just take me through sort of the reason for your appeal. What it is you want me to know?
So so you see my argument there. We had purchased the property for. We purchased it, the price was $585,000, and that was,
okay.
That was April 9th. And, when we purchased it, we were quoted a tax of $9,900. I don't have the exact number, but basically we were notified then in the summer that the basement had been finished. Now, our understanding was that that when you had done this, that that had already been included into it.
Okay.
So they had done apparently they had applied for a building permit. Of course, the house was built in 2012, and my view is my wife and I, that the increase is going from 406,201 to 426,000. When compared with other homes in that neighborhood, when you look at it, and I broke it down on a square footage basis, you can see an outlier on that in terms, and those are values from 2020 that you used, which is what they said you had to look at that. It is only 2,204 square feet. The lot size is I don't know lot size on people I have it. Hold on, I'm looking at the lot size. The lot size it's actually on the card. It's rather small, is what I'm saying. It's got a one-car garage. Many of the other ones here you see at the valuation, they have two-car garages or more. This is it is in proximity to Stratfield Road, and it's a bit noisier. But you take it all together, the lot size, the size of the house, the number of square feet in the house, the fact that it's a one-car garage, and what we paid for it at $585. You said I'm sorry. You said it was about, you had it at what, 600 and.
So the breakdown is the town does you get your appraised value, which is what you say it's worth.
Right.
And then the 70% value is the assessment. So just on the form, the official form, it basically had the town value at the appraised number, and then it had your request at $407,000.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, and I just wanted to be clear that that's the assessed value.
The assessed value was?
The 70%.
70%.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So if we take 585, I don't have my phone on me.
Right. It comes out, I did the math, it comes out to right around there. I just wanted to make sure that you.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so that's my point, my argument that at 70% it should be
right.
that, and then when considering the assessed value, when you look at the factors, the lot size, the square footage of the house, the fact that it's a one-car garage, these things I think would make it a lower value than what you had, the 426,000. What was it, 426,090.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's my argument. So I'm asking that the assessed value be lowered to asking that the assessed value be lowered to $407,740.
Right. Okay. Good. And I think your sale contract is in here. Okay, good.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Anything else you want me to know?
No, that's
pretty straightforward, right?
Fact. Yes.
Okay.
And I've also put in there, as I said, I put in comparable houses in the neighborhood. I've also outlined in my arguments the number, the square footage, the factors that are different in terms of some of them have, I think some of them have swimming pools, the number of bedrooms, the number of finished attics some of them have. So those are those are factors that I
Okay.
that should be taken into account when assessing valuation.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, pretty straightforward. Easy enough?
That's it, okay.
Yeah. So basically, like I said, we're gonna meet together, we finished, today's only the second day of these hearings.
Okay,
So we'll finish this weekend next, and then
Okay.
we will start the deliberations, and, you know, it's on a rolling basis, so your number 82, when we get to
Okay.
82,
okay,
assuming we do them in order, you'll be notified. Like I said, it will be before the end of this month,
okay,
so you'll hear something. And if it goes your way, great, congratulations. If it
Okay.
doesn't, just so you know, there is an option to appeal again, but it would be you'd have to use the court system, but all of that information will be provided.
okay,
So
great,
just so you know, you'll have a full breakdown.
okay,
And it is, unfortunately, it's not retroactive, so it would be moving forward. So if we come to the conclusion that you're happy with, that you would see that reduced assessment moving forward.
right, yeah, I mean, I think it's, what was the previous, it was 406 was the assessment
Yeah.
that we were at, for the last year
Last
into this.
valuation
Yeah,
year,
right,
yeah.
okay,
The 5-year block, so.
exactly, right.
So, you'd have to actually check with the assessor. I think it would be the October payment would reflect the new amount.
October, okay.
Maybe, don't quote me, I'm gonna find out for sure.
All right, well,
But it wouldn't be anything retroactive.
All right, okay.
Some people wanna know, because I understand where they're coming from. It's like, well, you guys were wrong, but at any rate, it would be moving forward.
Okay. All right.
All right.
That's it, okay,
Thanks,
thank you.
Thank you.
How many of these do you have today? Quite a bit?
Yeah, a fair amount. Till 2.
All right. Okay, thank you so much for your
Yeah, no,
time.
absolutely, don't forget your coat.
I will.
Thank you, have a good day.
You too, bye-bye.
Okay.
Kate?
Yes?
Hi.
Hi, are you Jack?
I am Jack. This is
Hi.
my wife
Oh,
Laura.
hi, nice to meet you.
as well.
Is the mask required?
No, I'm assuming you're back.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you comfortable if I take it off?
Yeah, sure.
Great.
Okay, I am going to record it for the town there, so
Sure.
speak towards that. I'm gonna swear you in, you're gonna sign here, and then I will sign. But before we start, I just have to read some things onto the record, and then I'll swear you in.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, so like, this is appeal number 84. The property address is 173 Quarter Horse Lane. The property owners, Jack and Lauren, are present. Town values the property at $1,816,800. The ask amount is $1,534,25. The owners are appearing in person. And you can say, I'm standing because I have to come back over this a second. Okay, so do you both solemnly swear that the information you shall give concerning the assessment appeal now in question shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, if you just sign there, just that you've been so sworn, and then I will sign and we can. That goes there. Okay. I'm going to, April, will you guys speak? So,
Sure. And we just had, we provided a package. We can give you a new one, if you like.
it is right here.
Sure, so.
Sure.
There was one Excel spreadsheet that we just wanted to provide as well.
We made a few updates. It was in the original attachment, there's no changes to the data, there's just like one original, or one additional.
Got it.
Personally.
Okay, perfect. And they'll scan that in. Okay, so just, you guys did this before, I read.
So, yes.
So I wasn't there last year, but I don't know if they've, please. I don't know if they've explained to you, but, so we are, it's a 7-member board this year, and we're just residents who were elected to the position, and the job of this board is just really to oversee, it's just for the month of March, right? And we just oversee the valuation that the assessor's office has come to.
Okay.
So we're not, town employees or anything like that, but we want to make it as fair as possible for everybody.
Right. Okay.
Some people have the impression that, we're trying to do whatever for the town, but really, we're just residents that ran for this office, and just wanted to make it
Okay, well,
fair.
thank you for your time.
Yeah, sure. Because I'm sorry to hear that you've kind of already been through this and it didn't go.
Yeah, so, thank you for your time.
Sure.
We're obviously, it's our second time in as many years. We understand that last year was difficult for the board and everyone really. Actually, we watched the meeting online. We saw the volume that you guys dealt with, so we understood. So this year, we'd like to be as concise as possible.
Okay.
We presented a lot last year. So we want to be a little bit more concise in our analysis and really focus on a few main topics. First, really using the town's own assessment model while also using a supportive market-based method. So in the material provided, really focusing mostly on the spreadsheet. You'll find the basis for our appeal. The spreadsheet that you see in front of you compiles comparable properties that were sold over the last 2 years that share the same characteristics of our home. That being greater than 5,000 square feet, minimum 2 acres, and a tool for value reference. All these data points were taken from property cards that we got online.
Yeah.
Represent all the homes that we could find that basically fit the same criteria of a home over the last 2 years, basically for market relevance when we talked about market price. As seen on the spreadsheet, with this data, we calculated the value per square foot using the town's assessed value. Simply, assessed value of the home divided by square footage. You can see this on column 5, the appraised per square foot USD from the spreadsheet provided. We also then calculated what the average per square foot value is for all these relevant homes provided. You can see that at the bottom. As you can see, the average is $277. Below home noted on the spreadsheet, just below it, is about 19% higher at $329. In fact, as you can see, we're the only home that carries a 300 per square foot, with only one home that is higher.
2 homes there.
2 homes that are higher. Yet all others are in the 200 range, much closer to what the average is, 277. If one were to use this simple town average, which is based on the town's own assessed value, the home should be more properly appraised at $1.530 million, significantly lower than the current $1.816 million, of roughly 19%. These figures are also presented at the bottom of the spreadsheet, as you can see on the left, just as we got that calculation, at 1.530. On the same topic, and for additional relevance, we'd also like to highlight 2 examples from our very own street on Quarter Horse Lane. They are shaded at the top of the spreadsheet provided. The first one, 170 Quarter Horse Lane. This home is directly across the street from us, actually. This sold just 2 weeks after ours. On April 9th, we purchased our home. This house was purchased, for $2.95 million, as you can see on the second column. That is 47% higher than our purchase price of $1.725 million, and the home's metrics are 17% larger than ours. Square footage is 6,200 square feet versus ours of 5,500 square feet. To extrapolate any issues what might have come up with the land assessment, the land is assessed roughly the same. Land assessment for 170 is 426 versus 425 for ours. This is also presented in the property cards for backup. However, it's worthy to note the town of Fairfield Appraisal for this larger and considerably higher priced home directly across the street is significantly lower. That home is 1.705, again, versus ours, 1.816. Yet their resultant appraised value of $274 per square foot is in line with the town average of $277 per square foot versus our appraised value of $329. So we believe this is the most obvious example of a discrepancy in appraisal value, showing that our home is an outlier. We'd also like to highlight a second example along the same lines. Again, this house is on our very same block, and also provided on the spreadsheet. The second one, 255 Quarter Horse Lane.
They're a next door neighbor.
Yeah, basically to the right of us.
Okay.
This home was sold basically less than 2 years than our home. It was sold in August of 19. So very comparable size, 5,500 square feet versus our 5,500 square feet. Again, the land assessment is similar, 430 for theirs, for 25 for ours. And yet, once again, the town of Fairfield appraised value for this very similar home is $1.508 million, for a resultant appraised value of $270 per square foot, which again is close to the town average of $277 per square foot. This versus our $329 per square foot. And so here we're trying to highlight the accuracy of the average being replicated on our own street for two very differently priced homes, yet still exposing ours as an outlier. Shifting gears to just another method, we'd like to move on to point 2 in our analysis. Very simply put, the purchase price is $1.725, and that's lower than the appraisal of $1.816. This is the price that was paid, fair market transaction, arm's length transaction. This home was on the market for over 10 years. Additionally, we provided a column, actually if you look on the spreadsheet, that shows the appraisal to purchase price ratio of all the homes in our data, and provided an average as well. The data presented provides an average assessment of 85% of the market value of the homes. This compares to 105% for our home. Again, a statistical outlier. So in conclusion, our hope is that our analysis will be taken into account using the town's own average appraisal value for comparable homes of $277 per square foot. Our home should be more appraised at $1.53 million. And while we understand that all models take into consideration data points and a reasonable variance can be assumed, given the appraisal to market ratio of witness at 85%, our home should actually be 1.469. Yet definitely not above the recent purchase price of 1.725. In fact, according to all this data, our home is 19% overappraised using the town's own square footage method, and 24% overappraised using a market-based variance one. We have simply asked for the more objective one using the town's own appraised-based method to eliminate any subjectivity with the market price. Yet it is rather interesting to note that this variance is also actually witnessed in the market as well. Both methods clearly show that the property is roughly 20% overappraised. So that is the conclusion of our analysis. We'd like to entertain any questions, but again, thank you for your time. If the town can elaborate in the board meeting of any points of debate, we'd be much obliged. But again, once again, we appreciate your time.
Yeah. I'm just thinking. I'm just trying to think of, like, I'm an attorney, right? So I'm just trying to think of the objections I'm going to hear. And a major problem that the board is going to have is that it's very close to the valuation year. You paid well over 1.5. Now that is not a be-all, end-all, right? That's not going to sink your case necessarily. But I'm saying that they're going to consider that it's going away and saying, well, if it wasn't worth that, why would you have paid that? And I'm just trying to work through.
I guess the one respectful argument against that is that everyone is paying higher than the appraisal value.
Yeah, I know. I think from what I understand, that's the appraiser, and it's not just this appraiser though. It's like it's the company that they use. That the idea was that right, because that's what the houses were worth. Or you know what I mean? What the market would bear is what the houses were worth. And I understand. Please, I live here. I know. And the board is made up primarily of realtors, so they're going to be familiar. I'm just trying to think of how I could approach.
And while we understood there was a lot of subjectivity with market prices, and they can fluctuate, and it is an up market, we understand that as well. That's the reason why in our initial analysis we wanted to focus on the actual appraised value of the home. So why is it that homes that were significantly higher priced in the market, that if you look at the body of data, and these purchase prices range from anywhere from 1.5 to $3 million. What you find is that the analysis based upon the town actually does properly get the appraisals to a proper 270 average. The body of work is wrapped around that 270, hence the 277 average, yet we're basically the only one in the 300s. So that was the point of real contention for us, is that we're willing to use the supporting market-based analysis, which also shows a degree over 20% of a variance, but using the town's own based model, how is it that our price per square foot is in the 300s, yet everyone else is in the 200s?
Including our next door neighbor and the people right across the
So
street.
that in and of itself eliminates bringing in the market value-based method, which also shows a lower valuation. However, we think it's another approach that really uses the town's own appraised model, which shows that even our price per square footage, however you price this home, is still too high.
Yeah.
We wanted to present this as concise
Yeah,
as
no,
possible.
you've done it.
And we did listen to the meeting last year, and what we wanted to do this year was to
Well,
really
what were some of the things they were saying? Because I didn't watch, and similar people are on this board, so I'd like to know what what.
So, to be quite honest, a subjective note was mentioned that was this an arm's length transaction?
Because it had been on for so long.
Well, I think possibly because they were entertaining the fact that it's a low purchase price. But that is the fair market transaction, fair market value of a transaction of a house that was on the market for over 10 years. We didn't know the owners. We used a realtor. This was something that only transacted once the sellers actually lowered their price. So this was a fair open market transaction, arm's length transaction.
So you're saying they felt potentially, I don't want to put words in their mouth, but they felt that because it's been on for so long, there's a chance that the bank was involved.
No, I think that whatever they speculated on, all I can say is that they had mentioned the question of was this an arm's length transaction, which inherently indicates that they believed that the purchase price was low. However, if you're going to entertain that the purchase price was low by saying it was an arm's length transaction, you need to research that and find out that if it wasn't an arm's length transaction, that this 1.725 is valid, so therefore that inherently warrants a lower assessed value.
Yeah.
And just to note also, I mean, again, our next door neighbors, right? I know it was pre-COVID, but they sold almost exact same square footage, same land, pool for 1,597. Right? The house across the street is considerably larger, considerably newer. So, if we're just thinking of a very comparable property, our next door neighbor sold for, more than 100,000 less.
They're lucky, that neighbor, that 170, because there are towns in this state which when you transact, that becomes your new value. So they are so lucky that an appraisal came out at 1.7 and they paid almost $3 million.
But at the same time.
I'm sorry, again, what I'd like to say is, despite the fact that they paid close to $3 million for a particular home, using the town-based appraisal, at least their average per square foot is in line with what the town has.
Yeah.
So it's not a statistical anomaly that their appraisal is too low, because it does tie in what's been replicated statistically within the town. If that was in the low twos, I'd say, well, great deal, or the appraisal is different. But the fact that even that number, despite the purchase price, on the appraised side ties into what the other metrics show, I only highlight it because of the fact that it only continues to raise the prospect that ours is a considerable outlier.
Right. Okay. I think we're good.
So, the one thing that we wanted to at least highlight today was clearly we're focusing on the appraisal per square foot, because we just really want to focus on eliminating the subjectivity of the market price, eliminating the subjectivity of what we did witness from the minutes of the board last year, which was an arm's length transaction. We didn't want to go down that road of subjectivity, very objective based upon the town's own appraised value and why is ours an outlier on a per square footage basis. We also did bring in the market value just for additional supportive measure, i.e. the fact that the appraisals are roughly 85% of the purchase price, and ours is 105. So even if you use both of them, you're looking at 18% over appraised on the town-zone model, north of 20 for the market-based one. However, I think it's pretty interesting to note that those are close enough to show that using both different methods, they both tie into the same numbers, which is closely a 20% overvaluation.
One other point that I think is, I don't know if this was relevant for the discussion last year, but when we came last year, we were in contract, we had not yet closed.
Okay.
So it was after so we had like an affidavit from the previous owner saying that we were,
Agent basically.
Yeah. So the actual purchase price though, we had not yet closed, so that was not yet reflected in town records and so on. It was only in contract. So I don't know if maybe there's also a timing issue that now we have this very objective data point of the house sold at 1.725 last year. And I apologize, before I think I said there were two above ours. It said there's one in the 300s, but it's still below our price per square foot.
The farmstead.
The farmstead's in the 300, and then the hillside's in the 400, and every other one starts with a 2, and even the Treasure Road starts with a 1. So, but I think the clear convergence is around that 277.
Apologies, that is correct. Yeah, the two north of ours, one at 323, one at 415.
No, only one's north of ours. That's what I was saying. But it does start with a 3. It's 323 versus 328.
I apologize.
We're the second highest in the list.
Okay. Okay, guys, nice job putting this all together.
Do you give us enough basis to at least warrant a discussion?
Well, sure. I mean, obviously, there'll be a discussion. We've got a hurdle, but we'll figure it. We'll work.
I mean, I think as like a clear backstop, though, the appraised value should not be higher than the price at which the house transaction.
Agree. And I think that's pretty, I think the board, Republicans and Democrats will each pretty much hold that. That certainly, you're your own best comp. So then that's where I'm struggling, because the problem is when we do that for other homeowners, saying, okay, they want to come down because they paid less than what the town is saying. Why is that a good enough value for us to use? But in this situation, it's not, because it's still lower, of course. So we might make, there'll be a recommendation at the minimum to get to that. But I'm saying for other homeowners to come in, let's say they pay 1.8 and the town says they're at 2. We bring them to 1.8, but you pay 1.8, or you pay 1.7, you want to go to 1.5, and then so in terms of just the argument, how much sense it makes, it's got to work that through.
Yeah, I mean, I think, but again, if we're using the town's own calculations of an average.
I agree. I mean, there's evidence here, there's comparables here, and there's definitely a good start, and there's definitely room to work.
Right, and we tried to provide at least criteria. This is not cherry pick. This is everything that we can find.
Yeah, of course. And like I said, the realtors are going to know, and they'll be familiar with the properties too.
Right.
And so,
and our hope is that at least the average provides a conservative enough number where it's not like we're taking the numbers and like, Fence Road Drive Treasure Road has a great average, or we're taking basically the average. Try to be as objective, transparent, and consistent enough. Because yes, we do understand that both methods prove to warrant a lower valuation. We think that the 1.725 is a starter. However, we presented this analysis to not only just after what you just said that that's a starting point. We do feel that is based upon the averages, which is also replicated in the marketplace.
Right.
It is close to 20%.
I agree. I only mentioned this, Dallas, just because I don't want you watching or listening to the hearings and saying, what the hell, where's that coming from? Because it will be brought up, and people are going to, so we're going to have, I just don't want you blindsided by it. But I think this is a good start, and so we'll go from here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you need from us?
No. If there's anything else that you think of, or I mean, I can't imagine, I think you've done a pretty comprehensive amount of work here, but you do have, this is only our second day of hearings, so we're going to finish up this week and have some next, and then the deliberations will begin. So if there's anything you're like, oh wait, that one thing, you can bring it down to their office and they'll scan it and make sure that we all receive it in our email.
Okay.
But I feel like we're in a good spot, hopefully. We'll see what happens.
Perfect. And that's just a simple question as far as moving forward. So when they we were kind of denied, so it wasn't really a question of in your experience, will they if the square footage is an appropriate basis for it to come to a proper 1.530 million. But will they use that? Will they go 1.725, 1.350, and that's it? Or will they even think maybe there's something in the middle?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll, and you'll see, I'm sure you'll hear if you watch again, that it'll sometimes be, it won't be all the way, it won't be nothing, it'll sometimes be in the middle, sometimes it'll be more than asked for. If I have a case that I'm pretty sure it'll be more than asked for, and they just missed something and they just didn't think of it to argue it, but I, saw it. So,
What was the argument?
they were basically, they had shown sort of comparable sales, but then there was this, you'll see.
Okay.
But so at any rate, they didn't have, it was particular to their property. And so turns out that it worked a little more in their favor, and so it was very easily discovered. So,
Okay.
and that's a situation where what they ask for, they won't get, they'll get something different, but I think they'll be happy.
Okay, because our starting round was the 1.725
Yeah.
for obvious reasons, and we do believe 1.530 was fair, but I just wanted to make sure if it was neither, was it off the table, or would they at least have worked?
Yes, no, so
consider
we'll
somewhere
figure
in the
something.
middle?
So just to be clear, last year you came in and they wouldn't even give you the 1.7?
No, in the deliberations, you heard people saying,
That's when
it's
the arm's
close.
length came up,
Yeah.
interjection. Yeah, go ahead.
No, like, there was one board member that just said, well, I think it's close enough. And I mean, it's a difference of almost
Oh, sure,
$100,000, right? And so I think, and that level of subjectivity, to me, just, it raises the question of like, well, what is the methodology that's
Right,
used to
right.
determine what's correct, like close enough versus,
Exactly.
we're trying to go with math here.
Yeah.
And when that debate was being made, that's when the conversation arose about was it an arm's length transaction? And in our opinion, we felt as though, okay, well, now you're considering the fact that the purchase price was low on the basis that it might have been an arm's length transaction. Then that should have been researched a little bit more before denying it and then just moving forward.
Yeah.
And I think, just to be very clear about that, it is, we don't know the sellers, we use a
Right.
realtor, it was on the market for quite a long time, they were even doing some changing over of their marketing materials, because I think they were trying to really get it to move,
Yeah.
so,
I don't think, I don't know who said it, I don't know what, I don't think they would have thought that you were friends with the owners, more so because the property sat for so long, I think there's a possibility that they believed that it may have even been through foreclosure, or I don't know if it was bank owned or anything. I think that's what, more likely what they're saying is, yeah, they got it for that price, but the truth is,
Right.
they were desperate to get rid of it, and the bank needed it off. That,
Yeah,
I'm
so
assuming.
we'd like to,
But I don't
for
know,
the
I'll
record,
figure it.
eliminate that. and say
yeah,
that-
this was very much just a market transaction.
Okay, all right, we're good. And so the way this works, I told you, so we'll do ours, we'll notify the assessor at a rolling basis, your appeal number 84, so assuming we go in numerical order, it'll be a week or so at least, and then they notify you. If it goes your way, fantastic, congratulations, you'll see that reflected at some point moving forward, it's not retroactive, and if it doesn't go your way, there's another opportunity, of course, next year, but you can also just go to court. I have no feeling right now on which way it's going to go, so I don't want to make you worried about it, but that's an option. And then all the information will be supplied with what, when the assessor sends out a letter, everything will be pretty laid out, so you'll know what's what. You'll know what to expect to change, or if you have to take other steps.
Okay,
All right.
thank you
Good
so much
job,
for
you
your
guys.
time.
You did the best job that I've seen.
Okay.
Oh, that's good to know. Oh, we have experience.
Yeah. So it's very, very thorough, but we'll see how it goes.
Thank you again.
No,
Thank you so much for your time.
doing this.
Do you want an extra copy of everything, or you have it all?
Well, I have it here, unless you have something else.
No, the only thing was the Excel,
Yeah.
just that we added in the market.
Yeah.
That's the only
None of the
changes.
data points changed, it was just the additional,
Yeah.
the market variance price.
That little, the bottom right
Yeah.
analysis there, just for reference. And, I think we just want to make it clear that we're not even asking for that lower price.
Right.
We're asking for what we believe is the more objective criteria, which is using the town's own appraisal of per square footage. Of course, we want to go with that one.
Okay.
Right? But I think, just to show that the two data points that it's, more than substantiated, no matter how you look at the math.
On a market base, it could actually be argued even lower, but we're just trying to eliminate the subjectivity of the market price and focus on the town's own appraised values.
Okay. All right, we'll
All right,
be in
thank
touch,
you
you
so
guys,
much.
thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, really appreciate it.
Sure,
Thanks
thank you.
again.
Have a great week, bye.
Hi, Katie.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, how are you?
Good.
Let me, one second, I'm just finishing up my notes.
No problem.
Okay. On this.
So you guys just roll through this all day? Is that the, wow.
Basically. Hang on, this has got to get put on.
I know I have another appointment at 8 p.m., so I feel like all day is all day for you guys. Like,
yeah, well, I'm sorry they didn't try to get you.
I mean,
So I try to get you to be a little more. I got the same thing. I got an appraiser coming in, and he's got like two, then somebody else comes in.
Oh, yeah.
More, and I don't know why they didn't just send it all together. Okay, so hang on here. We're gonna.
okay.
I'm gonna have to swear you in and have you sign this. I gotta read some stuff onto the record.
Okay.
And then I'll swear you in. This is being recorded here, so we're gonna try to like speak that way.
Okay.
Okay, so this is appeal number 88. The property is 1069 Hulls Highway. The town values the property at 129,100. The ask amount is 477,670. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and I'm sorry. Would you just state your name for the record?
It's Carrick Kenny.
Okay, and the homeowner?
Yes.
Present, and we are now going to. Do you solemnly swear the information you shall give concerning the assessment appeal now in question shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. So you would just sign that you've been so sworn, and then I'll sign it. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let me just start. I'm just going to take notes as you speak, but just have you done these before?
No, this is my first rodeo.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically what this is, this board is made up of 7 members. We are residents in town that were elected to this position, and the board's entire purpose is to provide oversight to the evaluation process conducted by the assessor's office.
Okay.
So we meet once a year in March of every year to deal with any taxpayers that's come forward with an appeal that feels that their valuation does not accurately reflect that the town has assigned.
Okay.
And so our job is to hear all the individual taxpayers. We get together as a group. We do them individually like this. We get together as a larger group once these hearings end, and we do our deliberations where we will say, we present the cases again, and we kind of all go through it.
Okay.
And the board is made up primarily of realtors. I am not. I'm an attorney, but the realtors have a very strong working understanding of properties and valuations and what they're trading for, et cetera, and so on.
Okay.
So you're in good hands in that respect. And again, because we're not town employees, because we're just residents that ran for this office, we do want to make sure it's just done as fairly as possible.
All right, cool.
Nobody really has any skin in the game outside of just making sure it's as fair as possible.
All right, great.
Just so you're aware.
No, that's great. Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
Okay. I'm wondering, I don't have your next one. It was on some tonight.
It's 8 p.m. I have the sheet. I think it's
It's like connected, right? This is the whole highway?
Yeah, so it's across the street. Yeah.
All right. I'll make a note, but I'm not here
Yeah,
today.
this isn't who it's with, but yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get started on this one. Let me make a note, though, that there's another hearing.
Yes, that's 1120 Holtz Highway, that one.
Okay. Okay, so take me through this.
Okay, so we moved to this property, 1069 Holtz Highway, like 3+ years ago.
Okay.
It's a small little farm. It's got a barn. It's got we brought some horses and donkeys, and we have chickens. So what happened last year is we acquired the other property across the street, which is was a flower farm, and we're continuing it as a flower farm. So what's happening now is, we bought it last summer. We started selling flowers in September, and we managed to sell stuff through December. So what we did was we're using, we've got more chickens on the way, but we have chicken eggs that we're selling from this property. I'm composting a lot of the horse and donkey manure for the beds.
Okay.
And I'm also creating additional overflow flower space to grow additional ornamental grasses and stuff on the property so that we can sell at the flower farm.
Okay.
So the part of the process, I filed the application in September, I wasn't aware that there was a, what's it called, the declaration of personal property.
Okay.
Which is something I had to file in November, which I guess this office sends that out, but they didn't because it was such a, recent transaction, like we only bought it over the summer.
Okay.
So, part of what my understanding in the brief conversation I had with the assessor's office is like, I filed this similar to the way the previous owner had filed. Like she lived across the street as well, and she, had some relief on her like residential property because she had the similar setup where overflow of stuff was growing on her property. And so it seems to me like, so I followed her application process, but I didn't have that other form, so it seemed like there was like insufficient documentation was the reason they gave me. So I included in the appeals, just everything I could show. So this is I was a lawyer, but this is now my full-time job. So I wanted to show that, we had that business. I know this only goes to September of last year. So I included the sales filing that I made for sales tax purposes. I included, the kind of the plan and for this year. And so I kind of filled out the best I could what information to I assume I'm just trying to prove that I'm using it as a farm and I'm making money off it. And so, and so again, I think my view of this is like when the previous owner, she had like a partial relief done for her like her residential property, meaning like it wasn't like what I'm saying? It wasn't like 100%. So I tried to, based on the percentage of what I'm using, that's where I came up with the 477 number.
Okay.
And so where I'm looking for greater relief on the farm property, because it's just a farm with a barn and no residential, or habitable property. So, so that's kind of where I am. I don't know if there's additional questions that you have. In talking to the woman at the assessor's office, like I know typically these appeals are based on like market, which is not really, my understanding is that's not really what I'm trying to prove that I'm operating a farm, and so that's why I have, I have like some of the stuff I was reading about, like soil, farm plan.
Had the previous owner, had they received the designation from the town?
Yes. I have this, so in this is, I don't have her personal, like the one for her house.
Yeah.
But the one for the farm that I bought from her, like, just for example, like, it was, I have it here because they, identified what the previous amount was, right? It was like, so the gross assessment for 2020 for that farm property was 20 grand.
Okay.
And then they came back to me and said it was 360, 359, which is like on that little, on this sheet is basically the value of the land itself. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it's close enough. I was trying to figure out how they got that number, but, so again, she bought the property 10 years ago for 410. I bought it for 575. So like, it's below market value, because it is a farm, and you can't. I know it's in a residential neighborhood, but there's no habitable building there. You know what I'm saying? Like if you were going to create a residential, you have to put some, serious money into building a house and all that kind of stuff on the property. So. So again, for me, it just wasn't. There wasn't much detail as to why it was. The outcome was.
I'm looking at this. I'm looking at his response to you, and there's no information.
Yeah.
He just basically says.
He just says for this property. He says insufficient documentation. And I feel like it was because this declaration of personal property. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that's, which is puzzling to me. So I'm from New York, but I lived in Tennessee for 6 years where there's no taxes on anything. And so, I'm buying shovels and a lawnmower for the farm, and I'm paying sales tax, and then I still get taxed again.
I know.
It's such a weird, I don't know, I was surprised that's the process here, but, so I didn't know that was there, I didn't know that was required, so I didn't file that, and so I think my view is that him seeing this application, which was, just a farm plan and basically describing what I was doing wasn't enough for him. That was my interpretation of why he rejected it.
And so, he's rejecting both the letter that so the letter here, it has, obviously it's addressed to you here, but it discusses both properties.
Which letter are you looking at?
It's just the one where he says that basically the application for classification for the farm is denied. So right now the town isn't considering either of them farms?
I don't think so. That's what I see, right? Because I think, like, the one I got from him of this assessment change.
Do I have a copy of that? Because I want to show, because that assessment change indicates, at least to me, that they used to consider it. That's why the value.
They used to, 100%. Like, she was paying, like, less than $1,000 a year. Yeah.
Well, can you make a copy?
I could totally make a copy. Let me see if I think, did I file that with that?
I know it's not here, no. Well, let me see if it's, no.
I might not have.
There's a lot here, but it's not, I just want to show that, like, at one point, they did consider, or at least they were getting the break of a farm classification.
Yeah, okay, so this is, right, okay. So this was, right, so that letter, he's saying 1069 hulls, but he only attached the application for, maybe this is right. So basically, these are the two responses I got, was this letter saying denied, and this saying, what the 1120, what the farm properties now assessment is, So I didn't get that for 1069 because.
Yeah, I just want to be able to show the board that at one point, this property was being taxed as farm, and basically you bought it, and now all of a sudden they don't want to do that.
Right. So is that, can we make a copy?
Yeah, they probably do it downstairs.
Okay.
And then you can just actually ask them, if you don't want to come all the way back up, to put it, you are appeal number 88.
You know what I can do? I can just scan this on my phone, and I'll just give you this. Does that make sense? Because I don't think I need the original. Nothing.
Now the challenge is going to be what the hell we can do.
So this was for the property across the street.
Yeah. I'm going to take it. Humongous difference. They obviously had one thing, and then you bought it, and they changed it.
And that's why my impression, again, I'm trying to interpret this, but like my impression was I didn't provide enough evidence that I'm actually operating it as a farm, so that's why I tried to do as much as I could to.
Well, what exactly do they need you to show?
I don't know. Again, a lot of there's all these helpful hints on how to appeal.
Yeah.
And it's really, the majority of it relates to getting comps and, which is not really relevant for this, right?
Correct. So for our purposes, we look at the land value, but you're this is really you're looking for a classification change.
Right.
Which isn't something we're capable of doing, but we're going to we'll try to do something, because I'm just sure I'll find out from them what exactly they need you to show.
So that, just so you know, that I just noticed, in the filing I have for tonight, the evening's 8 p.m.
Yeah.
I did, in that appeal, I included that sheet.
Okay.
So I have, they have it, yeah.
Okay, right, because it deals with the 1120, okay.
Yeah.
And then, so our argument for this anyway, for 1069, is basically that there's essentially an overflow to an extent, and so it's almost like they're both farms.
Yeah, and again, I'm not saying it's the whole thing,
right, but I'm pretty sure the classification is that it has to be some portion of the property.
Right. I forget the percentage she received, her whole backyard was just more beds and just, just flowers. So she got, I forget the percentage she got of relief, but, so mine's a little different where I have these egg production and the compost, and I do have beds, but there's other things happening, so.
Okay.
It's not, I don't know.
Okay, all right, well, this is a good start for us anyway.
Okay.
And I'll talk with them also about classification. It might be that they send you a letter telling you exactly what changes, because I genuinely don't believe it's within our capacity to change a classification. But at the end of the day, he did send you our way, so we'll take a look at it, for sure.
Okay.
But I want to make sure that you do
So
the
are
right
you
thing
guys,
by
like, do
you.
you guys then sit with the assessor and kind of argue our case on our behalf, or what?
No,
what
we don't have any, we make the decision, and then.
Oh, you do? Oh, I see,
It's
okay.
binding on him.
Oh, I
The thing
see.
is, I don't know the statute allows us as a.
I see what you're saying,
as a
right. You have
board.
some authority, but not, maybe
Yeah,
not.
I don't know that we
yeah.
can change, we can change residential to commercial, we cannot do that. But
Yeah.
we can change valuation.
Yeah,
And so that's something maybe that we'll just have to discuss it, and.
Yeah.
And if, at a minimal, we'll figure out what you're gonna need to do to qualify for the classification, because if it once was, and you're using it in the same vein,
Right.
if not even more,
right.
there's no real reason that it shouldn't continue to
Yeah.
be.
I mean, to be frank, like, I didn't think it was gonna be an issue with the farm, because
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't change anything, and
Yeah.
I applied the same way she had applied for her, right? And so, like, she gave me her application, and I literally, I changed, like,
Of course.
but it was, like, basically the same thing. So that was surprising that they basically rejected it. And I think that was because they didn't file this declaration of personal property, like, because when I came here, they're like, well, you haven't even filed that. And I was like, I don't know what that is.
Right,
what that
exactly.
And so, I understand this one is more complicated, where it's a residential, but, but she did get some kind of hybrid relief, so I feel like it's
Yeah.
available out there. My goal is to break even this year. This will help.
Just making a note. All right, we'll do what we can here.
Yeah, being a lawyer is more lucrative than being a farmer.
Yeah, but I mean,
FYI, in case you needed a
In a
retirement
way,
plan.
it's probably more satisfying.
It's been fun. It's all new, so it's been fun to learn.
Okay, all right. And I will find out who's hearing you tonight, and I will get in touch with them just to say.
Oh, I
We
appreciate
kind of
that.
had a conversation, and if you.
Yeah.
You might as well come back.
Yeah, no, I'll come
Or
back,
have
yeah.
a second set of eyes on it, but, I'll figure out who has you tonight, and we'll talk.
Okay, cool.
All right, good. So like I said, we do this, we meet as a group, it takes a week or so, and then we notify the assessor, and then they notify you.
Okay, so
you-
it's a few weeks,
Yeah,
at least, yeah, okay, cool.
But in the meantime, I mean, we'll do everything we can, but if it comes down to the classification and that's not within our authority, like I would, if I were you, try to get all your ducks in a row regarding your personal property declaration. I don't know if there's
I already filed all that stuff.
Okay.
Well, when I appealed, I basically noted on, like, I just filed it. It was due in November. But I
Okay,
just filed
okay,
it,
that's fine,
yeah, so it's on file now.
So we'll try to maybe go that angle too.
Yeah,
It can't hurt. I will scan this in, because it's new.
oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah, they need to, because then it'll get to all of us.
Okay.
Um,
So are you a real estate attorney by trade, or
No,
what's
no,
your?
I work at Morgan Stanley, so I do
Oh, you
large
do?
scale corporate stuff, so.
Okay.
But.
In the city, or where do you do it?
Yeah.
Okay, I was a lawyer at Merrill for
Oh, no
15
kidding.
years, yeah.
I started at Merrill Lynch 100 years ago.
Yeah, yeah?
Well, when I got into like the financial sector, I started at a regular firm at first.
Right.
And then Merrill Lynch was my first, this was right before the market crash.
Well, I joined them 06,
Yeah.
and I went through the crash with them, and it was, wasn't pretty.
No.
And then it was day-to-day, yeah.
But things are, well, anyway, they're better now, I guess. So, okay, good. We're good on this.
Okay, cool.
I will get in touch with whoever it is hearing you tonight.
I appreciate that.
We'll go from there.
All right, thanks so much.
Okay, good luck with everything.
All right, thanks. And if you need flowers, come
I
on.
know. For eggs.
I have, I'm harvesting pussy willow right now. That's the earliest thing that comes in, so I'm doing that right now.
My niece has her good girlfriend lives on Hope, so maybe we'll stop in.
Okay, yeah.
If you get a good result,
All
you'll
right,
have
good.
to see me.
Either way, it's fine. Okay.
Bye now, thank you. This gets equal to this one.
All right. All right, let me see if I can see master list here.
Room number two. Room number two.
I'm right in here. Hi, Greg, how are you?
I'm usually a very kindly person. I am. I mean, because I spend most of my day meeting people at the house, being a realtor, being a homeowner. You gotta be on time. I moved recently.
Okay, it's further out?
Yeah. I've been in Fairfield for 53 years. I just bought a condo up in Shelton.
And now it takes longer to get places?
Everywhere.
Yeah, well,
Everywhere.
it's actually just as well to go.
Giving you a chance to catch up.
Yeah.
Okay. And this one's easy too, just a regular single.
I have you for the next hour, so.
Oh, so I'm like parked here?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
In fact, if
Okay.
we do it right, we can get through all four of them. There's a break in between, it goes 3, break 1. But if we do all 4 before this guy shows up, we'll be okay.
Well, I do have the people on Warner Hill Road, the sister of the brothers, she's coming in, she's an attorney, and
Okay.
she has the gift of gab, so we have to do business first and then let her talk if she wants to.
Okay, okay.
Other than that, it's just me. We're good. So how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I haven't seen you a couple of years.
I know. It's been a while.
So they had to like drag you out of
Like Al Pacino.
retirement.
Yeah, hang on.
Are we being recorded?
We are. I'm going to read into the record in a second. Back, let me write that down now.
Be careful what I say. Here's my card, by the way.
Okay, thank you. I'll keep that.
There you go.
Okay. All right, let's just find, okay, so, I know you know the drill, but I still have to read stuff onto the record.
I know. Swear me in. I'll have to raise my right hand.
Yeah, right, well, before we get to that.
Cross my fingers while I'm talking.
Okay, so the phone is there, that's where the recording is, so we'll direct our voices that way, and let me just get through the pertinent stuff, and then we will move forward. Okay, so this is appeal number 106, the property address is 111 Edward Street. The property owner is Robert Camarda. Town values property at 1.016. The ask amount is $900,000.
Correct.
This is an in-person hearing with the appraiser Greg Lane present to the appraiser is present to conduct the hearing with me. This is Katie Gustin, board member. Okay, so let me just do that and do this here. All right.
Sure, man.
You know how this works.
Yes.
Hold this fire. This thing won't stop going on. Okay. Do you solemnly swear the information you shall give concerning the assessment appeal now in question shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, so what we're going to do, as you know, I'm going to take notes while you are going to sign, I'm going to put sworn. We're going to do this 100 times. And then I'm going to take notes while you write and while you speak, and you know the process.
Here's two originals. I was told I just have to give you one, but they're letter size so they can scan them.
Okay,
Everybody
perfect.
gets copies.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, ready when you are.
I'm ready. Hey, good morning. My name is Greg Lane. I'm a state certified general real estate appraiser. I'm here this morning to testify on a single-family property located in the beach section of Fairfield. The address 111 Edward Street. Single-family home. I used the direct sales comparison approach. I found 3 comparables, and they're all within less than a quarter mile. And I did utilize, back during the revow, and even now, the market is appreciating. So appraisers have been using positive time adjustments to account for the rise in these property values. We have been using a conservative but market justified figure of a positive 12% a year, which is simply 1% a month. So that's added next to the sales dates, depending upon when the property is sold. The effective date of the appreciation began April 1st, 2020, which was pretty much when the pandemic started and when the property values began to increase more. And that, this statement is consistent throughout my appraisals that I'm doing. It's not just for this property. But the subject, it's in the beach section. It's kind of like a cape and a split, and you know, the town value is just excessive in the land, plus the improvements. I have 3 comparables, one on Roder, one on Penfield, one on Lally. They're all within a quarter mile. There's a map at the end of the appraisal, which gives the location of the subject, of all the comps.
Right.
I think they actually used 4 comps on this one. There's a 4th one on Roland Road, which even further justifies my figure. Adjustments for the comps were minimal. I believe Lally was in better shape, Penfield was in not as good shape, so I made some minor adjustments there. But other than that, it's pretty similar, square footage. I made the adjustments for the bath counts, garages. The most important thing is to get a property in the beach area and within the proximity of your subject. And there have been quite a few sales down there, so, I didn't have to search out of the ordinary for these sales. They're there, and it's pretty evident that the subject property is overvalued by the town, and we're just trying to justify that.
Okay. Good.
Hopefully that wasn't too random.
No, good.
Let me ask you something. Not on this property.
Okay.
I had just a hearing come through, and they purchased it in the valuation year. They paid $1.7 million for it. The town has it at 1.8. They came last year. I wasn't on the board, but they said that the argument tended towards the board didn't believe it was an arm's length transaction. And I took that to mean the property had been sitting, I think it was like 10 years or something. They were trying to get rid of it. And the board, we as realtors probably knew that it was pre-foreclosure, or these people did not say one way or the other, and I didn't ask point blank. Mm-hmm. They were denied last year. They were in the process of buying at last year. They hadn't actually purchased, but they had the number, and the number said the same. Okay. They came this year, they're asking for even less. Last year, they were just asking for purchase price, which the town was about almost $100,000 over. This year, they're coming asking for like 1.5 when they paid 1.7 and change. And they're basically saying, they looked at a bunch of houses and did comps, and it worked out to $1 per square foot, an average. They took an average, and they're at 300 and change in the average of these homes, and therefore they're calling it a town model average. It's like 277, and they feel if we did the 277, it would bring them to the 1.5. And I'm curious, it's funny. They're saying, people were paying so much more for houses, and I'm saying, but isn't that essentially what we're looking at, right? Like,
overpaying.
Yeah, but don't we have to say, but that's what the house was worth? I mean, I sold my house, there was a bidding war for it, so shouldn't I have to pay, I don't know, I'm just curious, like, off the case and everything, I'm just, what you think about that?
Well, it's interesting because one of these involves just that same question.
Okay.
So, you have to be able to justify why it's worth less than what you paid for it.
Right.
Which I have done.
Okay. I didn't know if it was
No, because people, it's like, and part of my argument, in the appraisal industry, there's 3 approaches to value. The cost approach, the sales comparison approach, the income approach. Single-family homes, typically, you don't use the income approach because they're not rented out
right.
Like income, right? So that leaves the sales and the cost approach. Cost approach you usually don't use unless it's new construction or, if you know what the land's worth. It's not an accurate indicator of value.
Okay.
Because you can take the square footage, you can use $200 a foot, you can use $500 a foot. It all depends on the quality of construction, all right? You can have lino, you can have marble. You can have, like this house that I'm doing had leather walls, okay? Not just sheetrock, not just plaster, leather, okay? So.
Right, that's a different,
Right, and I've been in houses down in Greenwich that the walls are silk walls.
A little bit like that. I've seen like a.
It's like you're almost scared to walk down the hall.
Yeah.
You're scared to like breathe.
I've seen a house where it was like, it looked like a museum, like the walls, they were not marble, but it was like, there was something else over, I don't know what it was, pretty cool.
Some kind of stone. So back to answer your question, you can overbuild. You can spend $20 million for a house that's really only worth 12.
Right.
So there is a case to be said for that. You just need to know your stuff.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to persuade the reader, being you, or persuade your audience that your argument is justified, and you also have to be able to tell a judge that too. That's the way I look at it. You know, Your Honor, you look at this and this and this, and, you know, I'm here and they're there, and I feel this, and just.
So how do you justify overpaying then? What's the?
Well, like in my case, which we will get into later, they overpaid because they paid for the furnishings. It was done by a top-notch designer, okay, like top-notch.
Yeah.
He had leather walls. You pay for that leather wall.
Yeah.
You know, so in that case, and if you back it up with photos, and you back it up with, you know, how it was back then, and, you know, things like that. So if you give yourself a good case, you do have a chance.
So they don't have any of that?
No.
And I'm thinking.
It's, you know, they need to have a professional like myself.
Yeah.
They do.
They should have. I mean, they definitely did their homework.
Not that I'm going to win it, but it's more persuasive.
Of course. They definitely did their homework. They definitely have breakdowns of all the houses in the neighborhood that sold. They were up on Quarter Horse. And there's 2 other houses on that street.
I've done some, yeah.
Yeah. And so, but I'm not saying, I told them, I'm not saying the fact that you purchased it during the time period in question for a higher amount than you're asking is a deal breaker necessarily, but it is going to weigh against you, and I'm trying to help you out here. I mean, you're not showing me any.
You have to wrap your head around it and be able to feel comfortable making a decision saying, you know what, you guys did overpay because this is this and this.
Yeah.
And to be able to sleep at night, you know, and
Right.
you feel like, you know, they didn't pull a fast one on you.
Yeah.
But it's a gray area.
I know. I'm wondering about that arm's length now.
Did it go MLS or was it a private sale?
I'm thinking it was MLS.
We'll find out.
Yeah, exactly. And that's,
Yeah, you guys do some digging, and then you can kind of get some background, and that'll make you feel comfortable, more comfortable making your decision. And same thing's going to happen with mine too when we come around. I think it's actually next one.
We're waiting on Warner Hill.
Is she next?
No.
No.
Old South is next. Let's do that.
Yes, we'll do that. Okay, so this is perfect timing. Is Old South after that? Yeah, looks like it. No, I'm sorry, it's Warner Hill after that. Yeah, okay. All right, same drill. I got this. This is for you.
And just for purposes of the record, because I can click in on just this thing, we'll say, do you solemnly swear the information you shall give concerning the assessment appeal now in question shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. What the judges used to say back in the day, they used to say, Mr. Lane, you do understand you are still under oath. Yes, Your Honor. That was back when there was live bodies doing testimony. Now
Yeah.
We used to make a lot of money on Mondays.
The house looks so familiar.
Well, that's...
It's not. I know where this one is, and the one I'm thinking is on Old South.
So, let's start from the beginning. Good morning, Greg Lane. I'm
sorry, I gotta read all this on.
First? Okay.
My fault.
Go ahead.
Okay, this is appeal number 107. The property address is 225 Old South Road. The owners, let's see, I'm gonna go Brennan McDonough and Elizabeth Matthews. The town values the property at $3.2109. The ask is $1,950. This is an in-person hearing with appraiser Greg Lane presenting, Katie Gusson, board member.
Good morning. Greg Lane representing the owners. We should make a housekeeping change. The value that I have there, the 1.9, has changed.
Okay.
The value now is 2.6.
Okay. Even?
Yes. For now. So I don't know if any referral can be made to our earlier conversation about people who paid a premium for their properties. And basically, the subject property is an antique. almost 200 years old, and you may want to, we should probably look at the pictures in here, Katie, because
Okay.
there's a lot of data here. We'll probably use the whole 20 minutes to tell you the truth. What, in the appraisal industry, there are many times when you have to, when you know what a property is worth, and you have to kind of back into the value.
Right.
So if something, just an example, this is not the subject property. If something sold for $2 million and you knew the land was worth 500, so the property is probably worth $1.5 million. Maybe it's not, but like that's what it sold for.
Right.
So this is the scenario that I'm in now. The subject property, previous owner is a very famous designer, Raymond Forehand, right? He bought this house back in 2006, and the house was built in 1824. So it's not quite 200 years old, but it's certainly an antique. And you can look on the field card, back in 06, he did a total gut down to the studs. So it's not like he didn't knock the house down. It's got the same foundation, has the same studs in the wall. So it was basically a gut job with mechanicals being it, plumbing, HVAC, electrical, walls, ceilings. He also made a addition to the property. And the upgrades that were done to the interior of the house, there are photographs of the listing when it's sold, and the sale date is almost the same date as the revaluation date. The sale date was September 24th, 2020. The reval was 10/1/2020, but it sold for $3,300,000. And the town value is $3,200,000. Well, it's really $3,210,900. The way that they arrived at that number, and it's right on the field card, and I also have a copy of that attached to the appraisal, the subject property field card. The price per square foot for the first and second floor were $500 per square foot, which for a 200-year-old house, even though it was gutted, is vastly excessive. So we have the $500 per square foot, and then typically a single-family house has a useful life of 90 years. So if this was built in 1824, and it was gutted, back in, let's say, 2006, 2007, I think they got the CO back in 2008, to tell you the truth. The town only has it at 4% depreciation, which means that the house is almost new. Mm-hmm. So I have a big problem with that too. With the house is almost 200 years old, and they're saying that it's 4%. So the appraisal contains, I think it's the next to the last page, is my own cost approach value to the property. And it's pretty straightforward. I just have it, and even I have it at $400 per square foot, which is still excessive, but and I did all the numbers, and the value by the cost approach is $2,452,239, which I didn't put in the appraisal because it's just like a separate addendum. I did do a sales approach. I do have 4 comps in here. That's how I arrived at my value at the 2.6. But I'm just trying to.
Okay, cost approach was 2.4.
Cost approach was $2,452,239, and all the figures are on the next to the last page of the appraisal. I couldn't fit it into the form that they have, so I had to do it. And then the page before that is the location map of my subject with all the comps also. The town's value of the 210,900 was backed into based upon the purchase price. There's no way that this house, which is 4,228 square feet, is worth, I think at my cost approach, I mean, if it's $500 per square foot, they have the value as, a astronomical figure for a house that was almost 200 years old. So I don't want to dwell upon it too much, but there's a lot of data here that can be utilized also. I believe when they purchased the house, this is not the current owners. The current owners have purchased it after the sale that we're talking about. So the purchase price at the September 28, 2020 was the purchase price that had the leather walls, it had all of the upgrades that were done by the decorator,
Right.
which that purchaser, paid for all those upgrades, and I believe a lot of the furnishings, this is just hearsay, it's not documentable, but that the majority of the furnishings in the house went with the sale. So even though it's furniture and it's personal property, that was why they paid such a premium for the property. That's why I feel that the value is really less than what they paid for it, based upon all these interior upgrades, interior features, which aren't...
And this was a 3-3 figure?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that was a sale, the 9/28/2020 sale. So we're not to confuse it with the newer one, with the new owners, and that's who I'm representing. Basically, they're paying roughly $60,000 a year in property tax, and almost all their neighbors are paying like 40, maybe 45. And it's down there in the villas. They're all old, most of them are antiques. And if you look, part of the appraisal, and this is important, if you look at my comps, I have field cards for all my comps. And there is one field card that the town did use the $500 per square foot figure, and that's interesting because that's the new construction house that was built in 2019, and that's where they used the $500 per square foot, and that, I believe, is in my comp number 222 Willow Street. So the town used the same, here, my house is 196 years old, comp 2 is 3 years old, and if you look at the field card for comp 2, and the field card for my subject, the price per square foot is almost identical, which makes 0 cents. So I think if you just take a second look at it, and the market value, that's my opinion. You may think it's more than I do, but I believe with the data that I've given you here and with the price per square foot and with my cost approach, and there's a lot of photos from when they purchased it back at the 9/28/2020, you can see the furnishings, all the upgrades. And if you look at the photos of how the house is currently, I was in there last month, they've had to gut the whole thing. They have HVAC problems. I have pictures of the foundation that's crumbling because it was 200 years old. And you can look at the photographs.
Right.
I don't have the page here right in front of me, maybe, but there's a lot of basement pictures, masonry. You got foundation falling apart. You got HVAC that's all rusted out. It's just, it was, when Ray Forehand fixed it up, it was like a facade. All right, it was a lot of paint, hardwood floors, and things like that. Pardon me for a minute.
Maria, for 57 Warner, it's here.
Okay. We're ready. I'll come get her. Okay, thank you. I called that one, didn't I? So, I'm sure I threw too much data at you real fast.
No.
There's a lot going on here, but I'm just trying to justify my cause, and most everything you need should be in my appraisal. It has the field cards. I have it circled what the town used on a square foot basis for all my comps, and you can see where they sold. And it's just, and do you understand my my methodology as far as if someone pays, when they paid 3.3 for this house back in 9/28,
Yeah.
2020, the town probably had a hard time coming in at 3.3. I mean, you got 4,200 square feet, $500 a foot, and the land, you can't really change. I don't really have
Right.
any beef with that, but they had to back into it, and they got the house for almost $2.5 million, just the house. If you look at the dwelling, it's 2.463 on
Right.
the deal card, and if you divide that by the 4228, you're at a big number. Where's my, I don't have my calculator, but that's my beef.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, my only issue is gonna be, I get the 3.3 and why that's high, right? Because they're
Yeah.
getting a ton with it, but then these people paid 3.7.
Again, and they have to gut the whole thing.
Yeah.
You see I mean, it's all gutted. So I think, and like I said previously, their problem is just that they're paying 60, all the neighbors are paying 45
Yeah.
or 40. And they don't mind paying their fair share, but it just seems a little outrageous at how the town arrived at that value. Granted, you know, they paid for it, but that's back to your question as to, you know, can you justify the premium? I can tell you a quick story. Westport, a sale, Westport Road, list price $1.2 million, sale price $1.6 million. Okay, I came in $1.4 million. All right, so the buyer paid the extra $200 on his own, financed $1.4 million.
Right.
It closed at $1.6 million, but it's not worth $1.6 million.
Right.
That's part of the problem too.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot of that.
So
this
I don't,
year.
you know, this is different.
I know. We're
And-
gonna have to figure out what we're going to do.
Right, and I'd be more than happy to, you know what, you have plenty of data here, that I don't want to overwhelm you.
Yeah, no,
There's-
I'm just saying,
there's no
it's gonna be a hurdle. I can get over
It
the
will be.
3.3,
Yeah.
because I can explain, of
But
course.
the 3.7,
It's a 3.7, and then what it is it looks like it's within the valuation year, essentially the property traded almost twice, if you will, within the
Yeah.
a year or so of the valuation period, it traded almost twice for over $3 million.
I agree.
That's just, I'm just saying, it's just, I don't want you to be like, what the hell? It's gonna be,
No,
it's just gonna be what we decide, because we're gonna say, we're gonna have to pick a lane, we're gonna say, listen, people overpaid for houses, that's not their actual value, then we gotta stick to that line. That's gonna be something we'll have to discuss.
You will, and again, hopefully you understand where I'm coming from, right?
Yeah,
And you know, it was a challenge for me too.
yeah,
But I do have 4 sales there, but it's a difficult market to price a property. Because
Alright.
the buyers are, it's just economics, a lot of buyers.
I get it, it's gonna be, we're gonna have to draw a line in the sand and say,
Right.
yeah, we'll be all right.
I'll tell them. So, I would almost like to,
Start without her?
yes,
Okay, hang on, I gotta still do all this.
oh, she has my agent authorization, she's holding me hostage.
It's okay, we can start this is Warner Hill, right?
Yes.
Okay, this is appeal number 108, property address 57 Warner Hill. This looks like it's a trust,
This is simple, cut and dry.
Ugreen estate, we'll call it.
They,
Yeah, town value 1.8363, the ask is 600,000, this is an in-person hearing with Greg Lane presenting, Katie Gusson, board member.
and I understand I'm still under oath.
You are still under oath from the previous 2 years. All right.
Good morning, Greg Lane for, you're speaking to plaintiff, Greg Lane for the property owner, at 57 Warner Hill Road. The subject, yes, she has the agent authorization.
What's that?
Here's the agent, I'll sign this.
Oh, yeah.
The subject property is a single-family dwelling. It's currently not habitable. There was a bank foreclosure that got broken into, all kinds of fun things. But my client purchased it back from the lender for $600,000.
Okay.
It was on the market, and the listing is in here. It was on the market during the revaluation period. They started at $814,900 for the property. This was in December 30th. It expired then. So this was during the revaluation period.
So it's 1219 or 1220?
I'm sorry?
1219 or 1220?
1219 what?
When it was on the market.
No, it was on the market in 2020.
Okay.
In the summer, I guess it started in the market. The date here I have, the listing expired on 10/30/2020.
Okay.
With the list price of $688,500. So it was on the market for 107 days. They started at $814,900. They dropped it to $688,500. No offers. So they went off the market. So that was at $688,500.
Got it.
And
That's good.
I have photos. It's the inside. Trashed isn't the word, but it's beyond deferred maintenance. Somebody actually broke into it. They were living there for a while. The different part about this is there's an indoor in-ground pool, which leaks, and that's why they bought the property for only $600,000. It's basically, I mean, the house, I don't know if it's a knockdown. I'm not a contractor, but in its current state, it's not habitable. So and I have a copy.
So they're going to renovate, and they're going to get hit when it's done, right? That's how we'll look at it.
Right. Now, another feature that you should be aware of, there's actually 2 lots there.
Okay.
When they bought it back, there's no access to the second lot. So it's just excess acreage. So that's even more reason for it just to be worth the $600,000.
Why no access?
Here, I can show you. My best friends come around and show you.
Okay.
So this is Warner Hill Road. This is where you access the subject property. This is where it is back in there. So this is another access way that they didn't buy back from the bank. I don't know if they're trying to go out. So as of now, it's just a single family lot with some excess acreage. You know, in the end, there is a lot here, and there is access there, but they don't own that right now. So as of that 10/1/28, there's no access to that.
Okay.
All right, and I have a copy of the deed here too. There's the warranty deed with the Schedule A.
So they bought this from the bank?
Yeah, here,
Okay.
right there. U.S. Bank, National.
And did the bank own it when it was listed at 814?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a better map. Let's see. Yeah, there's lots of maps in here. It should help you out.
Okay.
Showing it better here, see?
Yep.
And here. That's better. And I have a copy of the listing.
So they're planning to what? Maybe she'll answer better. Renovate it, obviously. Got it, the whole deal.
We're gonna soon find out.
Yeah.
Should I get her?
Okay, this is pretty straightforward.
All right.
They'll get me bigger.
All right. Go back here. We'll find some chairs. So this is
Hi.
Maria, And brother, there, I'll take it.
Here, well, oh, that's the phone's there. There's one in the hall.
I'll get it. Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah.
Okay, just for some housekeeping, I'm gonna swear you in.
Somebody's banana here?
This is my table.
Okay, do you solemnly swear that the information you shall give concerning the assessment appeal now in question shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, just gonna take for the record. Join.
Okay. I don't have a copy of this, I'm going with it.
Okay.
My agent's certification for them.
Okay, it's Maria, and is it Roman?
No.
No, Peter, okay.
I'm the sister.
So I explained to Katie about the current state of the house,
Yes.
how it was, how there's no access to the back lot. So you purchased it just with that one lot with the excess acreage. We bought it from the bank. When it was on the market, it was marketed by the bank. So she has all that data. I'm going to send you a copy. Well, I could probably just give you this one, because I could print another one. Here. This is what I did from the town. You can have this.
Here.
That's all right. This shows the house as is, all right, which they're going to look at. It showed the house when it was listed, okay, on the market for that marketing time. So it was, the public had access to purchase it at that price. No one did. So then I have copies of all the maps, the deeds, showing them where in the back that extra, which you don't own now. Yeah. So you can have that.
And you're the head.
So I just wanted to know, what are you planning to do with the house? You're gonna gut it completely, you're gonna knock it down?
No, and another 200,000 has to be put in to change the whole heating system.
Okay.
Because it's not heating, and another, outside, about 125, I got an estimate of 350 has to be put into the house, in that bed.
Yes, okay. I'm just trying to get an idea, for the board, so what we do, there's 7 of us all together, so we'll get together after these hearings are complete, and we'll discuss all of this, and so I just want to have an idea if I can explain to them that it's gonna cost several hundred more $1,000s to be livable.
And it's already put in, almost 50.
Yeah.
And there's photographs of the property as is. There's a lot of photos showing the breakdown, the deferred maintenance, the HVAC problems, the moisture problems, leave alone the whole pool area house, the outside. So we really don't even know. I mean, you need to have someone qualified to go in there. I think those numbers could go up.
Because I spoke with
once you start digging into the wall, you don't know what's in there.
He said, just now they're trying to fix the wall. They're gonna give us estimate too, besides because the rain from the roof.
Yeah.
The roof
The drainage.
Right, and it's called a basement, but it's really a room. It's totally, if you walk in now, you can see the whole ceiling is full of water. The sides full of water.
And so I have pictures of that.
And the whole thing against the wall here is like this big green.
Line.
Thing, yes. So we have to get the cleaner, the Ajax, whatever mix, and get it down.
Okay.
Well, you have to get it dry first, and then you start fixing it.
Yes.
You know, you gotta get that done first. So, no, I mean, back in the day when it was habitable, it was probably worth, 161.
Right.
Somewhere around there. So I don't even think the town was aware of it.
What does the town have?
I don't think they got.
Oh, God, okay, all right.
Yeah.
What do they have?
1.8?
1.8. Right.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Right.
Okay, good, okay.
Right. So, is there anything else that they get?
Nope, I think we're.
You think you got most of the data here?
Yeah, I mean, I've got proof of the condition. And what's really, I think, gonna make the difference is that you're gonna be putting money in, and then at some point you'll, it'll have to be, it'll be reassessed at some point. No, but I think it's a good place to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, you're going to be working on that.
Hi.
But should we pay the tax now again, 8,700? We just paid it in January.
Well, so the thing is that whatever we decide would be something that would affect you moving forward. It won't be retroactive.
Yeah, you won't get any money back, but effective, it'll be for the 22 list.
Yeah.
So it'll be July 1st. July 1st. So.
I've been telling people October.
We're doing this now. We can't give you money back.
No, but we did pay for January, February, and March.
I'm not sure how that
Should
works.
we pay this again or just
Well,
wait? It's very expensive to pay tax on something like this.
I know.
I know.
Right, well, that's what we're trying to solve here, you know.
If we don't have to pay at least this April 1st, we'll have some money to
No,
protect the house.
You will
have to pay
April. July will be prorated, so if you get the reduction.
If you get the reduction, which you should,
Right.
well, who knows?
Right.
It wouldn't be until July you'd see it, so April would be as is.
Right,
Okay.
so since you took title to the property after the last revaluation, you really couldn't do anything back then. This is your first opportunity to do anything, so we couldn't speed things up any faster.
Yeah, right, it only happens once a year, it happens in March only.
Right, so we're here now doing the right thing, doing the only thing you can do to get it done.
Yeah.
So, Katie works with the other people, very knowledgeable, real estate people. Most of them have probably been in the house, so they know it.
Right.
They know this house,
They can sell it.
Right.
Right.
Which I put on there, yeah.
Right.
When some people found
That's
out
in
they
the
have
appraisal.
to change the whole heating system. By the way, the heating system I said, but it can go as high as $350,000.
I'm sure. I mean.
Because everything has to be done.
It's like 6,000 or 7,000 square feet, so it's big. So you talk about venting.
Right, a lot of, yeah.
If that stuff starts, you get mold in there, it's like a nightmare.
I don't even want to know what's in there.
Well, let's get this done and
Yeah.
then you can work on the rest of it, but we did everything we can do for now,
Yeah.
Okay.
all right?
And you'll hear from us soon,
Yeah,
by the end of this month.
Yeah, there's only like 110 hearings.
Yeah, something like that, so what are we, number 57? Emily.
Okay, thank you, thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for bringing the agent certification.
Oh, yeah.
I was worried, usually I have those in my hand, so I'm sure. But
You never have to worry
I'm glad
about
you're
it.
good. Okay.
Thank you.
We're good.
Thank you very much.
Are you sitting here till 9 p.m.?
No, I'm done at 2, and then another group comes in at
Okay.
6 or so.
Relief work.
Thank you.
I got a couple more here, so.
Okay,
Good to see you.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
I'll be in touch.
Good luck.
Sure, okay, good. We'll see you. The what?
You do the whole hearing first.
Well, let's just see, well, one thing at a time, we'll do this for now. Thanks, Maria, good to see you, Peter.
Yeah, good to see you as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
See ya, all right,
Thank you.
all right.
All right. We're gonna skip the next lady. We got time. She's not here for 10 minutes, and we'll just crank this one out. Okay.
Okay, so I guess they're from Ukraine,
Oh, I was gonna say,
yeah, Polish, Ukrainian,
yeah.
yeah, Polish. She was telling me that I was at their house and it had just started. And they were on TV, they were like, oh, my mother this night, and she could talk all day long, oh my God.
Oh, God, that's tough. That's so tough.
Yeah,
Okay, wait, here we go.
Family back there. So,
Yeah, one more, hang on. Appeal number 109, the property address is 644 Fairfield Beach Road, the owner Nancy Verzaro. Town value is $844,500, the ask amount is $675. This is an in-person hearing with Greg Lane presenting, Katie Guston, board member.
I am still under
Okay,
I understand. Okay. Send it in here. I have something for you. Oh, this is Warner Hill. Hold on. Oh, there's nothing in there. Hold on.
I'm ready when you are.
Be right there.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Carol. So, I think,
Okay. This, what are we doing? This is Fairfield Beach Road.
Yes. There we go.
Mhm.
She signed this, I didn't fill it in. 3. What's your address here? 44.
Entire binder. It's like really well organized. I mean, very compelling.
Here's agent certification.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, good morning. This is Greg Lane. I'm representing the property owner at 644 Fairfield Beach Road, Nancy Rosero. It's a single-family dwelling. I believe the town has the market value at $844,500. I'm coming in at the value of $675. I utilize the direct sales comparison approach. The subject property, what should be noted, the town has the acreage of 1.10 acres, which is correct. The actual site size that can be utilized is 0.21, and the town's aware of that, and we don't have a problem with the
The
value.
town has the acreage of 1 acre down by the beach?
Yeah, but most of it's wet.
Okay,
It's very narrow and it's wet.
okay.
So it's just excess acreage down by the beach, and they are aware of that. But, so the subject was built, so it's 55 years old. I can give you an appraisal here. And the town has it as a raised ranch. I have it just as a colonial kind of, or we call it technically in the business a high ranch. I just have it with no basement. You walk in the front door, there are no steps down. It's just a front door for you, so you got the lower level
Yeah.
and the upper level. The kitchen's on the upper level. So I just said there was no basement because there is no basement.
Right.
It's on a slab. I just tried to find comps as close as I could. I tried to find something not on the water side of Fairfield Beach. I did find one, but it's farther down. It's on the creek, but yeah, properties right on the creek going for $700, and the town's got this worth $850 almost.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense. But
So
first
it looks like the land is just crazy overvalued.
I don't know. I mean, you can take it from wherever you want, but you know, first comp is rolling, second one's reef. Reef is busy, like the subject. The subject is on the same side. It's before Reef Road, so it's a hugely busy part of Fairfield Beach.
Yep.
All year round. It's not just during the summer anymore. So Roland is a better address. I did use positive time adjustments here when it was necessary to. But just making my adjustments, you know, the creek sale, number 3, it's a better spot, it's quieter. You get down past Reef Road, and it's on the creek, so that's nicer too. It is bigger. It's a contemporary style, so it's a little different. But if you just utilize the sales approach like I did, and I didn't, again, with the acreage for the subject, I didn't make it, I made minimal site size adjustments because the utility of the subject's land is limited to 0.21 acres, which is at the bottom of my grid, right below my comp data I have on there. But there's plenty of pictures. I have a site map in the back. The inside's nothing fancy. It's not like the baths are that nice, the kitchen is that nice. Pretty ho-hum. But I just think that it being on the busy road there, and you got one that's on Fairfield Beach Road also that has water views that sold for $150,000 less than what they say this is worth.
Yeah.
So, and I even tried to bring that down, well, trying to bring it down because it was better, but, I could have probably come in lower if I had relied upon the one on Fairfield Beach. My adjusted value is 560, so I didn't come in at 560 because the other two are at 704. So I just tried to be reasonable. I probably could have come in lower, but I think 675 is fair.
Okay.
And I was in the one on Roland Road. He did a refi, he fixed it up, but it was pretty similar to this one here. This one's much more straightforward than the last two.
Yeah. I'm looking at the picture. I'm trying to see. I just don't even really see where they get all that land. There's going to be something said for, okay, fine, it's not usable, but it's still a good amount of privacy that most people down there don't have. But I don't really see.
It's just all back. It's all back. It's the house. It's just very narrow. And it just goes all the way back.
And so then what does this end up being? How far down Circle Beach? Oh, yeah, okay. Like Veterans Park.
That's Veterans
Right.
Park. It's wet, and then there's Veterans Park.
Yeah.
Well, Veterans Park is
Up here, yeah.
This is just, Reef Road.
Yeah, okay.
And it's just right back in there, the whole thing. You just take that little narrow, like all these people, same thing. So this is a microcosm.
Yeah.
So you can see all the neighbors, same deal.
Okay.
This is a flood map, it's not very typical. But you see, there's water right in the middle, that's
Yeah.
why. So it's wet on both sides, so you can't really do anything there. That's why it's all wetlands, because you get a big monkey there.
Then the challenge is, so then the usable we're saying is like 0.2.
0.21, yeah, if you look at, on my appraisal, this part of the appraisal, subject
Yeah.
site size utility is 0.21, which is the same thing that the town has.
Yeah.
We actually
Just for my
broke it
purpose,
down.
let me look. You had one comp in here. With
The towns, see, they have primary, 93.75, and the excess is 0.88. Which we look at.
I'm just to see how far off. Okay, yeah, see? I mean, I know it's a little bit different. I'm just looking at their land. Their land's at 4 and change. This land was, the subject land's at 7 and change.
Yeah.
It's about usable.
Yeah.
It's about the same size. So they're going to argue, no, well, Reef Road is not the same as Fairfield Beach Road. But, and Roland is too small for me to look at, to really, with 0.9 acres.
Yeah.
That's twice that, but.
And the other one, Fairfield Beach, I think that one. That's on the creek, though, so that one's kind of hard, too.
You know, let me just see what they're calling it. That's 1492.
Yeah, I didn't pull their fuel card. That ought to be interesting, because that is on the creek.
Yeah, their land is at 749. Let me just do that, write that in here.
That would help us.
749, yeah, because ours is, what are we? 644 Fairfield Beach Road?
697. Well, it's really 708.
Yeah.
With the excess.
708 is the, okay, so 708.
That'll make it easier for you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, done. All right, now we need to put this on the outside. All right, so they will be hearing, within the next couple weeks here.
Yeah, pretty
Let them
soon.
know, whatever.
You were, very fortunate to not be involved with last year. They were here for like a month.
Oh, I know. Well, I did it one year where it was like, it just felt like it never ended.
I think Dave was still the chairman back then, wasn't he?
My first year was David.
Yeah.
I think I did 2 years with him, but there was one particular year where I was like, there's no end in sight here. Like, it was just brutal. And I don't know if that was very early on or when that was, but I thought, I honestly was like, I can't do this anymore. It is your whole life. You're here in the morning. There were days we'd come in the morning and then come back at night. Now there's enough of us.
Well, I do thank you for volunteering your time.
I'm so thankful.
No, it's a good thing.
I'm late down this lady. All right, let me call this next one up. I think you're due next door.
We are, okay, I'll go see Carol. Well, best of luck. I'm sorry I threw you a couple zingers here.
No, it's interesting.
Well, it is interesting. And you should see the ones that I say no to.
I know.
The ones that I do take. The ones that I don't take. Good to see you, Katie.
It was good to see you. You got rich coffee.
Oh, yeah, that's me.
And your glasses.
Yeah, I think that too.
This has been it, huh? Here, I need Old Post Road. This will be interesting. Good luck. Hi, Old Post Road? Come on in. Okay. I'm going to have you sign that a second after I swear you in, okay?
Okay.
But before I swear you in, I have to read some things. We're going to record here. I'm just going to read into that for the town's purposes, okay? So this is the time. You can sit.
Okay.
I'm standing because I have to come over to you in a second anyway. Okay, so this is appeal number 119. The property address is 543 Old Post Road. I'm assuming you are Rachel and David?
Yes,
Okay, the owners are present. This is an in-person hearing. Katie Gusson, board member. Town values the property at 12367. The ask amount is 925,420. Okay, I'm going to now read your oath. Bear with me, pull it up here. Okay, you raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the information you shall give concerning the assessment appeal now in question shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
I do.
Okay, so if you would just sign that you've just been so sworn, and then I will tell you by way of introduction, my name is Katie. I am one of the 7 members of this board, which is made up of residents in town that ran for the office and serve on this committee, which is the entire purpose of which is to oversee the valuation from the appraiser. We meet once a year in the month of March. We're not town employees or anything like that. In fact, most of the members on the board are realtors. They're very familiar with the properties, especially the ones that have been changing hands recently. So you're in good hands that way. We don't have any skin in the game. We really just want to make it as fair for everybody as possible. So if we think that you're overvalued and you've sort of provided the information to support that, then we're more than happy to make the adjustment. And the way it works is we will do this individually. Then the hearings will finish. This is only our second day, our third session of hearings, but really just the second day, in morning and night. We'll finish this week. We have a couple next week, and then we will start the deliberation. That will take however long that takes until we're finished, maybe a week or so. Then we will notify the town, and then they notify you.
Okay.
And if it goes your way, great. You'll see that reflected moving forward. There's nothing retroactive, unfortunately. And if it doesn't, they'll provide information on how you can appeal to court. That would be your next process. Or you can come back here next year. But if you don't want to wait and you want to move forward, you have some more options. So, okay, so I'm just going to be taking notes as you speak. I have everything here and you can just say, so this is your time now, just to.
Okay. So you already have,
Yeah.
we weren't sure if you were gonna have our packet
Yeah.
or not. I think, our view is that we purchased, just started the basics, we purchased it in October, for an even $1 million.
Okay.
And so what we've included in our packet is, one, the valuation report, and then all the support to go with the valuation we had. And just as a quick background, they listed the property at like 1.3 million in
Okay.
August last year. They lowered it to 1.1, and then we made them an offer and we closed on it at 1 million.
And it was arm's length, it wasn't owned by a bank or anything like that?
Arm's length. And then, so what we also did, and reading the background information that you guys had said that the valuation period should be houses, from a prior time period. So, and what we tried to pull together was, all right, let's look for, similar antique property homes. And again, you can challenge the way we did it, but there's a page in this called, it's probably tagged as analysis on what you have. And what we tried to do is just lay out this, I don't know if you have this page. It's available. It's tagged.
Yeah, we have an extra here.
It's called the analysis?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's here.
It's a lovely little spreadsheet.
Got it. Yeah, that's it right there. So all this does, then on the top, shows comparable antique properties that we looked up. And how we came up with 925 is we looking at antique properties within the time period that's specified that you were looking at. And again, what we did was just took an average price per square foot of those properties and applied it to the square feet on the property we just bought. That's how we derived 925. The table at the bottom is what was in the valuation report used by a third-party independent valuation to come to the $1 million valuation that they came up with, which was the purchase price we had agreed to.
Okay.
Right.
So but we recognized that a lot of these properties weren't in the window that you were looking at, hence we went back and found other comparable antiques. So this page is the summary of probably everything that's in this pack and how we derived the calc.
Got it.
Look, we're both CPAs, so we're not, I don't work in the real estate.
Dog spreadsheet.
Oh, yes, you do. Lovely spreadsheet.
So we're not real estate agents. We were just trying to come up with a pragmatic approach, given, I think in short, our view is we paid $1 million for it. This house also traded in 2015 for $900,000.
Okay.
It traded in 2012 for $720,000. It doesn't appear there were very many improvements done between the sale of the house in 2015 and when we purchased it.
Okay.
So this house has never traded for a seven-figure number until we bought it. And, I don't know if I have any more to say other than, we agreed to $1 million, even though I would have loved to pay less. But given how hot the market is right now,
Exactly.
I don't know if it would have changed.
Right.
So, that's my last point would be, we came to $1 million purchase price on an open market, and in the hottest market Fairfield's has seen in a long time.
Mhm.
So I would struggle to see how the value of the house is 1.236.
I agree. I think we can agree on that. It's the question of getting you to the 925.
Right.
And so we'll go off with it. We'll work with this as well. Because of course, if there's an objection,
Sure.
it would be, well, they paid $1 million. How could they say it's not at least worth $1 million? So we'll have to just work with this.
Right. Oh,
That's
trust
what we
me,
can
we
do.
tried.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, you did a lot of work here. Good on you. I think it's a good place for us.
Yeah, it has all the, related, property tax cards and things like that there as well, so we try to make it easy.
And like a lot of, this property is, you throw a stone at it from here, right?
Right, yeah.
It's right, yeah, it's right on the other side. So, I think the only other thing is, it's sitting on land, but you can't subdivide the land or anything like that. So at the end of the day, that's why we ended up going back to antique properties of other properties with land on it. It's hard to, in my view, again, if you're a real estate agent, you know this way better than I do, but.
I'm not, I'm an attorney, but the majority of them are, and they know it pretty well. But I've lived, except leaving for school and then living in the city for a while, but I've lived here my whole life, so I'm barely working knowledge of properties, but they're like legit experts, so. I think we're in a good
And
spot.
they'll all probably go, oh, yeah, we saw them pay a million.
Yeah.
Oh, guys.
But you love it, or? You
Oh,
don't
we
love
do.
it?
Oh, we
Yeah,
love
yeah.
the house, like, we love, like, it's, I mean, we have another house at 84 Oldfield,
Okay.
We
so.
live right there.
Okay,
We
like
just-
this
we-
area, all right.
We like old
Okay.
houses, and we've got 4 kids, and I don't know, that house has got enough bedrooms for us, whereas our current one, our kids like share rooms,
Okay.
so they were excited. Not that you need to know all the person.
You know, the kids have their own.
Yeah.
Right. They have lots of children, they need help.
How old are they, off topic, but how old are they?
10, 12, 8, and 6.
Oh, God, yeah.
So.
You're just getting, I was just thinking about that the other day, like all of mine are older now, and, when they were that age, you don't really appreciate it, because they were so into sports, and they're still into sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's like college recruiting, and back then at 8, it was just so much, it was just so easy.
Right.
But you took it for granted to an extent, like you didn't
Right.
really
Oh, absolutely.
appreciate how much fun that was, so I guess,
You're scared, man.
yeah,
Well, I think
I appreciate it.
I think you take every stage that you
Yeah.
just passed for granted,
Of
right?
course, of
Because
course,
it feels
right.
so hard when you're in it, and then
I know.
you get past it and you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. They couldn't move.
I know. Oh, but no, you've got an exciting time in front of you now, right? You're
Yeah.
looking at, well, you certainly have some middle schoolers already. and
Yeah,
then
we
you'll be
have one middle schooler. Next year we'll have 2.
Yeah, our oldest loves to tell, she's in 7th grade, she's like, in 5 years we'll be graduating, and we're like, it's weird to think about that, right?
I
It's like,
know.
I'm sure you've been through it, but
Yeah.
like, for us, it's like, when she's
I
in
know.
7th grade, our oldest, so it's like,
Oh, it'll break your heart when the youngest one, my sister, so I have 2 sisters in town, and the youngest
Right.
child is one of my sisters, and he is in 5th grade, and he's like ready for college, basically, because he's
Right.
between his siblings, his cousins,
yeah.
so he's like, he doesn't want to go to middle school, like, he's ready for high school, and I'm like, and it's gonna break your heart when the youngest one is like, they're just so much more mature than you
Oh,
ever
yeah.
hoped they'd be.
Oh,
Yeah.
she already is. Like,
Yeah.
she like had this book this morning. I was like, no, you can't read that. She's like, no, I can read it. I'm like, okay, you can read the words, but no, you cannot read
Shouldn't
that.
read. I had to tell my niece about, like, everyone wanted to watch Euphoria. I don't know if you've
Oh,
watched it all.
I've
I've
only
seen
seen
a
like
few
1 episode,
episodes.
2 episodes.
That was
but
the-
I haven't, and she's only in 8th grade, and she knows that girl from,
Oh, yeah, all the Disney
not
movies.
just, right, well,
Yeah.
Spider-Man, but she was also like,
Oh,
young,
yeah.
like
Yeah, she
a
was.
dance show.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, no, I think she's a drug addict, I don't think you can watch it,
Yeah.
but that's the least of it from what I understand, like
Right.
the drug thing
Oh, yeah.
is the least.
Oh,
But
yeah.
anyway, okay, all right, guys, we're in a good spot here, we'll get together as a group, like I said, and then you'll be
Okay.
notified before the end of this month, so you'll know
Okay.
something.
And it's just a question from us, is
Sure.
it like an absolute yes or no from you guys?
No, it is
Or
not.
is it a, hey, these guys are saying 925, they traded at $1 million?
Correct.
Is it someplace in between?
Correct.
Is it?
That's a good
okay.
question. People are always like, did I go too high, did I go too low? No, so if we feel that it's under 9, although sometimes, especially the Republicans on the board will be, no, they didn't ask for that, so no. But the truth is, we have the ability to do whatever, and whatever we
Okay.
find is equitable, then that's usually what we do.
Okay.
Got it. Okay, yeah, I just wouldn't, I mean, it was reading the website, we were just trying to determine, it was like, well, I don't wanna ask for like $850 if, if it's a yes or no
Yeah,
stamp,
right,
and I gotta wait
right.
another year, right? You never know.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. So we'll see how it comes out.
Okay, perfect.
But yeah, all right, guys, thank
Cool.
you
All right.
so much.
Thank you very
A lot of work here. It's gonna be well received.
I hope so.
Yeah, we got extra copies if you need them.
They'll make them. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the week.